Hello everyone, welcome to our test interview questions and answer blog. In this episode, we have gathered another set of interesting test interview questions and expert answer to help you prepare for your next software testing interview. We will also discuss some situation based questions and answer around some real life testing. So join us as we deep dive into the world of testing strategies and techniques. Our first question is, what is exploratory test? This testing is an approach where testers design and execute test cases simultaneously while exploring the software application. It involves learning the system, designing tests on the fly, and adapting the testing strategy based on test results and observations. This testing is particularly effective when dealing with complex systems. For example, in YouTube, if you have an active account, you can post videos. As a guest viewer, you can just search and watch videos. So as a tester, you can explore here different user profiles and how the interactions with contents are happening for each user. What is boundary value analysis? Boundary value analysis is a technique used to test the software at the boundaries of input values. Test cases are designed to evaluate the behavior of the system at the lower and upper limits, as well as just inside and outside those limits. It helps identify potential errors or issues around boundary conditions. Let's assume you are testing a login form that accepts username with a minimum length of 5 and a maximum length of 10 characters. This is just for example. In boundary value analysis, we would identify test cases at the boundaries of this input range. So let's see what are the test cases we can prepare for this input range. So this could be the test cases, right? Test case 1, enter a username with 4 characters less than the minimum length, and expected result would be validation error should be displayed. Then test case 2, enter a username with exactly 5 characters, right? That is the requirement, minimum length, and expected result it should work. Test case 3, enter a username with 10 characters, that is maximum the length, and expected result successful login, right? So as we have mentioned, the requirement is like it will allow from 5 to 10, so it should work. Now test case 4, enter a username with 11 characters. This is beyond the maximum length, and as a result validation error should be displayed. So these are the boundary test cases that we can prepare for that specific case where login username will only accept 5 to 10 characters. Let's now find out difference between static testing and dynamic testing. Static testing involves analyzing the software documentation, requirements and design documents to identify defects without executing the code. It includes techniques like reviews, inspection and walkthroughs. Dynamic testing, on the other hand, involves executing the software to validate its behavior against the specified requirements. Our next question is around risk-based testing. Risk-based testing is an approach where testing efforts are prioritized based on the risks associated with the software system. Risks are identified, assessed, and classified, and testing is focused on mitigating high-risk areas. It helps allocate resources effectively and ensures the critical functionalities are thoroughly tested. Now assume you have given a task to do risk-based testing for any e-commerce website. For an e-commerce website, potential risks could include security vulnerabilities, payment processing errors, and performance issues. Risk 1, let's say we'll discuss under security vulnerabilities. Prioritize security testing by conducting penetration testing, checking for SQL injection, and ensure secure transmission of data is available. Let's say under risk 2, we need to check about payments. Prioritize testing the end-to-end payment process, include different payment methods, refund scenarios, and handling of incorrect payment information. Let's say risk 3 as performance. Focus on load testing to ensure the website can handle high traffic during peak shopping periods without performance degradation. By addressing high risk areas first, we ensure first critical aspects of the e-commerce website are thoroughly tested. So whenever you are going to test some e-commerce sites like Amazon or Flipkart or anything like that, you can follow this kind of risk-based approach. So now let's assume that you are going to test something very complex in nature with multiple integration and dependencies. In that case, what could be your approach? If you get that kind of question in your interview, you can provide answer like this. You can say that in such cases, first we need to analyze the system architecture and identify all the integration points. Then prioritize the testing based on the criticality, risk assessment and impact analysis of each integration. Perform interface testing to ensure seamless data exchange between the integration systems. Conduct end-to-end testing to ensure that overall system behavior is working fine or not. Then utilize tool for mock testing or simulate external systems to test scenarios that are difficult to replicate in the actual environment. So you can also expect question on mobile application testing, like if you are going to test any mobile application which supports both the platforms like iOS and Android. So what could be your approach? And you can formulate your answer around these points. You can say, like when testing a mobile application for multiple platforms, we first need to develop a comprehensive test strategy that covers both iOS and Android platforms. This will be your first point. Then identify platform specific functionality and design differences to ensure that they are tested accordingly. Utilize emulators or simulators to perform initial testing, because for all the cases you might not have the device very beginning. But finally, you also need to do the device testing. And very important point, to test the application across various screen sizes, because you are testing on a mobile, right? So you have to test for the sizes, resolutions and orientation to ensure a consistent user experience. Last but not the least, to perform network testing to assess the application's behavior under different network conditions like 3G, 4G, 5G, Wi-Fi. Let's focus to test one application that needs to handle a large volume of data. When testing a software application that handles a large volume of data, we need to identify the data handling requirements and scalability goals of that application. Design test cases to simulate and test with representative datasets of varying size, ranging from small to extremely large. Conduct performance testing to assess the application's responsiveness, throughput and resource utilization under different data loads. Perform database testing to ensure efficient data retrieval, indexing and query optimization. Monitor and measure the application's performance metrics and response times during data intensive operation. By testing the software application with large data volumes, we can identify any bottlenecks, data related issues. So guys, that's all for today. I hope you have enjoyed this session too. Please subscribe this channel if you have not done yet and share among your connections. Thanks for your patience and time. Happy learning.